Guys, my name is Waga and welcome to the channel. I think it's best to start off by showing you exactly what we're going to build. Um, on the right, you can see the app we're going to build, which is called Color Match. And as you can tell from the name, it the user moves sliders to match the color. The color, for example, let me just 1 second, let me mark the various circles. So here, let's come here and we can wrap this. Why isn't it showing? Okay, yes, that wrap with column, and we can call this text. Uh, give it text A. So circle A. Yes, it shows. Beauty of Flutter instant reloading, near instant, let's say. And for matches, we can wrap this. Why isn't that? Yes, it has shown. This. Oh God, sorry. This light bulb. Um, let's call this circle text. Circle B. Yes. So where were we? Yes. You match the color shown in A at the beginning. You move the sliders to make sure B reflects the color. At the beginning, when you start, A is randomly generated using a function, and B is set at all three sliders are set at 0, which is the color black. If you move them to the end, like if we move this here and we move this here and we move this here, you get the color white. So it spans the entire color spectrum, you could say. Yeah, and after moving, let's try and match this. This to me, I guess I'm a bit colorblind. This looks like what? Light pink or something. So let's try and match it. Let's put a bit of red. Is it too much? Okay, let's do a bit of green. Oh god, messed it up. Let's do a bit of blue. Ooh, it's looking purple now. Okay, let's say, suppose you are as colorblind as I am, and you decide that these two are the same color, and you can click on submit and check your score. So you click on submit and I'm close. You have 20/20 vision. As you can see, the alert dialog pops up and says you have 20/20 vision. That's actually the top quadrant. There are 4 quadrants of playing, close, and I'll explain it in a bit. You can hit reset to generate a new color and reset the sliders back to 0. For example, I am going to show you how you do it. Let's reset. Hit reset, and you see a new color which looks like, is that gray? Yeah, sort of grayish, and the sliders all back to 0. So how we did it is because the sliders, if you look, the sliders, they go all the way to 255 plus 0, that's 256. Same 255 and 255, right? Because the sliders all go to 255, I divided. I get the difference in the color. That would mean that there are 16 million colors, right? Let's check with our calculator. I guess they're about. It would be 256 by 256 by 256 colors, which would be 16 million 777 216. I divided this by 4 and use that to generate to divide the answer by 4 quarters. So depending on where the color is, the difference between the color you select and the color generated, we get the absolute value of that, and then depending on how far it is, you get 1 of 4 answers, 1 of 4 scores, we could say. I think then evaluate. So if the difference is really low, like was in my case, you get the message you have 20/20 vision. If the difference is a bit higher in the second quadrant, you say you are tetrachromatic. That means you can see 4 colors. So pretty good vision, right? And if the difference is greater than that, which is 1, 2, 5, 8, 2, 9, 1, 2, that's the third quadrant, you get a question, are you colorblind something? Are you colorblind? Because you did pretty badly. Else, that is, if you are completely wrong, that means that the color is on one end of the spectrum and your guess is on the other. It tells you you are colorblind. Stay away from traffic lights. So one of those 4 will be shown when you submit. And also an interesting touch is that the submit button itself is colored the same as the circle A, the preview circle. I call it the preview circle. I'll come up with better names as we go along and we're building this thing. I call it the preview circle. So circle A and the submit button, let me reset so that you can see it change. You see both of them have changed to, looks like the previous color we had. Okay, now this is a new one. Publish, I don't know, blue, and a light shade of green. So one of those. So that's basically the app. The things that we used to build. Let's see. We could. We actually used the provider. We used the provider as a state management solution. The many state management solutions in Flutter, several have been endorsed by the Flutter team. Provider is one of them, and it is, if I'm honest, my favorite because it has less boilerplate than block, for example, and Redux is Redux is just on another level when it comes to boilerplate. But this is actually one of the best state providers in my opinion. The the provider? Let's look at the model. Yeah, like for example, you can look at the model here. So you use change notifier, and where does it connect? It connects on the main, right? Yeah, we actually use 2 providers, so we're using the multi-provider, not just one. We're using one change notifier provider for the color model, which the color model is for the guesses, so that is circle B, and the preview model is for the randomly generated color, which is generated at the beginning. We can restart the app and we see the regeneration. And so because we're using two providers, change notifier providers, I decided to use the multi-provider, right? And another thing is that the change notifier provider, let's go to preview. Is it preview or where is it? I think it's in sliders. Yeah, it's in sliders. The change notifier provider, where is it? Matches, I think. Okay. Matches, yes. What this does is that the change notifier provider, it automatically rebuilds. Yeah, it rebuilds the widget when it detects a change. So for example, let me show you, like when we move this, it rebuilds the widget to reflect the color, and that's why we use change notifier provider. And I think that's about the entire tour of the app. I don't see if there's anything else. It's not too complex. We use color provider as a state management solution. Yeah, and it's pretty easy app, quick, divided into a couple of parts, explaining each part, and we can break it down. As always, like and subscribe, and thank you for listening to me talk. And I hope to see you on the other side when we start building this thing. Thank you. Have a good day.